There's a question I get asked all the time, and it usually comes from someone who looks tired, someone whose eyes light up when they talk about it, but whose shoulders carry the weight of reality. Should I quit my job and follow my passion? And I always smile because I know exactly where that question comes from. It comes from someone standing at a crossroads, feeling restless, wondering if there's more to life than paying bills, and showing up to a job that slowly drains their soul. I get it. I've been you. Today, I want to tell you what nobody talks about when they say, follow your dreams. I want to tell you the part they leave out of the TED Talks and the best-selling books, the part that's not Instagram-worthy. The part about the bills. Let me take you back about 15 years. I was sitting in my cubicle, day after day, week after week, year after year. Competent, efficient, reliable. The kind of employee managers love. Someone who doesn't make waves, who gets the job done, who doesn't ask for much. But I was dying inside. There was this thing in my chest, you see. It wasn't small. It was burning. A constant ache that I couldn't name, but I could feel it every single day. Like something inside me was screaming to get out. I wanted to create, to build something meaningful, to see my ideas come to life, to wake up excited instead of dreadful, to do work that mattered, not just work that paid. So I started consuming content, inspiration, motivation. Just thinking about the day I would walk out of that office and never come back. Everyone around me kept saying the same thing. Something the successful people glossed over so quickly you almost missed it. Something they mentioned in passing, like it wasn't the most important part. They had bills too, and they had something else. But we'll get to that. Here's what happened when I actually made the jump. I had 3 months of savings. That was my runway. 90 days to prove that I could make my passion work as a career. I was terrified and exhilarated at the same time. Like standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing you're about to jump, but not knowing if you'll fly or fall. I gave my notice on a Monday. I cried on the drive home that day. Not sad tears, relief tears. The first month was magic. And with it came a call from my landlord asking about rent. That's when it hit me. Not to enjoy my newfound freedom, just to not be homeless. And that cold dread just washed over me. My passion didn't pay the rent. My passion didn't cover groceries. My passion didn't care that I was trying to build something meaningful. My passion didn't have compassion for my landlord. And suddenly, that beautiful dream started to feel like a luxury I couldn't afford. I took on freelance work, just to survive. Then more freelance work. Then teaching gigs on weekends. Then consulting projects in the evenings. And you know what happened? I ended up working twice as much as I did in my cubicle. It's what makes us human. It's what separates us from just existing. They had a plan, a real plan, not just a dream, but a strategy. They had financial runway. They had business acumen. They had connections. They had privilege, whether they admit it or not. They had someone else's money backing them up, or family safety nets, or degrees that got them in the door. Or they built it slowly while keeping their day job. They worked nights and weekends for years, not months, years. They took years to transition. They tested their idea while they still had a paycheck, while they still had health insurance, while they still had security. The successful creatives I know, and I mean genuinely successful, not Instagram successful, they didn't quit and then figure it out. They figured it out first, then they quit. There's a massive difference between those two things, and nobody talks about it. What I wish someone had told me is this: your passion doesn't owe your landlord money. Your creativity doesn't pay for your child's needs. Your dreams don't keep you warm in winter. Your ideas don't care about your stress levels. But you know what does matter. Your willingness to grind while nobody's watching. Your ability to say no to things that don't serve your vision. Your willingness to learn the business side, not just the creative side. Your ability to build relationships before you need them. That's what builds a sustainable life. Not passion, discipline. And here's the thing, the real thing that separates the people who make it from the people who don't. The winners fall in love with the process, not just the dream. They love the writing, not just the idea of being a writer. They love the building, not just the idea of being an entrepreneur. They love the daily, repetitive, sometimes boring work, because they understand that mastery comes from repetition, not inspiration. So I want to ask you something, and I want you to really sit with these questions for a moment, not to judge yourself, but to be honest with yourself. Is your passion truly your purpose? Because that's what the first few years will look like. That's what you're signing up for. The people who successfully live their passion, they didn't fall in love with the idea of it. They fell in love with the actual work, the daily, unglamorous, sometimes boring work. To work weekends and lose sleep. To face rejection and crushing self-doubt. To be uncertain about how they'd eat next month. To watch their friends get promoted while they were still struggling. And they did all that while still paying their bills. That's the part nobody wants to hear. That's the part that doesn't fit on an Instagram caption. That's the real cost of following your passion. Here's what I know now that I didn't know then. Passion is the beginning. But passion without a plan is just daydreaming. The hardest truth about following your dreams is that you have to do it while also adulting. And if your passion can't survive that reality, if it can't live in the world of bills and obligations and real-life constraints, then maybe it's not your life's work. Even when nobody's watching, even when it's hard, even when the bills are due, that's where the real magic happens. Not in the leap, but in the climb.